What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. Who do you guys think has the best chance to survive the play-in tournament between the Lakers and the Warriors? Let's start with you, Logan.
Man, I've flip-flopped between this all season long, and I've wanted to sell my stock since the start of this season when I picked the Lakers to win the title. I really want to take Golden State, guys. I really want to take Golden State, and I think they have improved immensely over the back half of this season, with Draymond Green returning, with Chris Paul being such a steadying force off the bench, with the emergence of rookies like Brandon Podziemski and Trace Jackson-Davis. I can't sing TJD's praises enough, man. That kid is awesome. I just can't bring myself to take Golden State. Jason, you did a breakdown a couple of days ago about Steph and their reliance on him offensively, and that's really what it comes down to me. I just think the Lakers have more secondary shot creation, more guys that can pull their weight on any given night. You know, I think the Lakers are really well equipped to withstand an off night from a LeBron James, an off night from an Anthony Davis, because they have D'Angelo Russell, because they have Austin Reeves, because they have these other guys that can pull their own weight and create their own shots offensively. And then you get into the fact that we always harp on the Lakers' physical and athletic advantages. It's just something I can bank in on more. I really want to say Golden State. I think Golden State is the more aesthetically pleasing team. They're more fun to watch, in my opinion, but that's not what it comes down to. I think the Lakers still have those physical and athletic advantages, and there's just more shot creation up and down the roster. Also, you add in the fact that, I don't know, man. I think this team has a legit chip on its shoulder. They still got LeBron James. I still think that when this team, it was ironic because last year, right, guys, it was like the Lakers at any given night in the playoffs would just boot a game and they'd say, you know what, we'll just win tomorrow night. We'll punt on this game. We'll win tomorrow night. I still have that feel with this Lakers team where I think that if they really want to crank the dial up in intense environments, in big game scenarios, I think the Lakers will show up. So it pains me to say it because I've been trying to offload my Lakers stock for so long, but I will side with LA, and I want to take Golden State, man. I want to see Golden State get it done. I'm rooting for that, but my gut says LA is going to get through.
Well, I think that when we're answering this question, we have to start with the fact that this is likely going to be the 9-10 matchup. So first, somebody has to survive this specific game. And that's where I think the answer becomes relatively clear. I just think the Lakers are a brutal matchup for Golden State. I think that we saw that in the playoff series last year. Of course, this is a different Warriors team. It's a younger Warriors team. It's a more athletic Warriors team. But the ultimate insurmountable advantages that the Lakers had last year, to me, were the fact that they had the two superstar talents on the floor, the two guys who could be top 10 players throughout a series, and the Warriors only had the one, that being Steph Curry, and they are very overwhelmingly reliant on him as that lone star shot creator. Shout out to Kuminga and what he has done as a mismatch attacker, weaponizing his athleticism out of the post in transition. He's been so good, but there's still obviously a gap, and I think in that playoff environment, he needs to prove that he can sustain this level. And so that's a real advantage, that the Lakers are just going to have two guys on the floor who are head and shoulders above everybody else except for Steph Curry at all times. I do prefer their secondary shot creation as Logan laid out. I mean, especially with the level that we've been getting from D'Angelo Russell. I don't want to be the guy who banks on D'Lo, because obviously he melted down against the Nuggets last year, and he is just kind of inherently erratic because of his shot selection, because he relies on those tough pull-ups, and he can take the offense out of rhythm when it's not falling. But he is playing at a level that we haven't seen from him in quite some time. I mean, has just been so impressive for this last month plus now. And so I'm at least optimistic about what he can bring in stretches, what Austin Reeves brings in stretches. And so I think it comes down to a combination of two of the three best players by far on the floor in this series. Overall athletic and really massive size advantages. Like Anthony Davis is just a brutal matchup for the Warriors. We saw that last year in terms of how he was able to dictate the series defensively. Kevon Looney did a really good job of battling him on the glass, but he still ate up boards in that series, was over 14 a game, I believe. And I love TJD, and he is balling out. But the Lakers just don't have a physical answer for Anthony Davis. They didn't have a center who was athletic enough last year. Now they do have an athletic center in TJD, but he's still undersized for that matchup. And if you get dialed in AD, he's just a problem, and he's really a problem against a small team like Golden State. So even though I love how the Warriors have turned the corner overall in the second half of the season, and I think that they have been rejuvenated by this young core, and they're doing a lot of good things, LA specifically is just a really tough matchup if LeBron and AD are going to hit that top gear.
Yeah, I look at it like this. When Vanderbilt's out, I think they're pretty much on similar footing as teams. And honestly, like, I really do feel like even if they're healthy, which, by the way, Jovan Buha came on the show yesterday and reported that Jared Vanderbilt is going to return this season, or not that he's going to, but that it's far more likely that he's going to return this season. So even with that allowed, I think I'd pick the home team between those two regardless. Like, I would have a hard time picking against Steph at home in a single elimination game. That said, I think when Jared Vanderbilt's healthy on the Lakers, I think the Lakers are just better than the Warriors. I think he's that when he's out of the lineup, that specific position group is such a devastating weakness for the Lakers that Steph can get comfortable all game long, and that's a real problem. Like, literally, Austin Reeves draws the Steph assignment when Jared Vanderbilt's out of the lineup, and we've seen how that's been a problem. But with Vanderbilt healthy, they're just more built for that sort of thing. That said, I still think just with the way the schedules are set up, even though they have similar remaining strength of schedule, the Lakers' tougher parts of their schedule are later on, whereas the Warriors' tougher parts of the schedule are earlier on. And I think that benefits LA. They also have a head-to-head matchup on April 9th where the Lakers will be at home, which I think is an advantage towards the Lakers. So even though, again, I think you'd be foolish to count Steph out, I think if Golden State did get the 9 seed, I would lean towards picking them to win that 9-10 game. I just think it's more likely than not that the Lakers win the 9 seed. And if Jared Vanderbilt is healthy, I think the Lakers have a better chance of winning a road game in Oracle than the Warriors have a chance of beating the Lakers in Crypto.com Arena if in the event that they're the 10 seed. So I think I lean towards the Lakers there. As far as the 7-8 matchup goes, I really like the Kings are definitely a tougher matchup for the Lakers than either the Suns or the Kings are for the Warriors. So in a weird way, I actually give the Warriors a slightly better chance should they beat the Lakers to get out of that 7-8 matchup. But the one, excuse me, the one thing that I keep pointing to with the Lakers as a kind of like an optimistic sign for them as a play-in team is that they do not rely on variance nearly as much as the other teams around the league. The Warriors are a high volume jump shooting team. The Lakers are not. The Lakers are one of the lowest volume 3-point shooting teams in the league. They're one of the most frequent paint scoring teams in the league. They have an ability to scale up in terms of their physical in position when they get into those matchups. A big example for me would be like Game 6 last year, Lakers-Warriors. Lakers at home. They get their butt kicked in Game 5. Now, as Logan pointed out earlier, that's kind of was their theme last year, is they would just punt specific games. But in that Game 6, what happened? LeBron came out in the first quarter and was like, I'm bigger and stronger than all these dudes. And for one night, I can bury them all in the rim. And he went out and he did that. And so, again, like I think when we really zoom in on it, both teams have a decent chance, but I'd say I give the Warriors a little bit less than a 50% chance of escaping the play-in and the Lakers a little bit more than a 50% chance. And so I'd lean towards the Lakers. So one last note on that before we head out to the Eastern Conference play-in. If you're the Lakers, and we're going to do both of these rapid fire, so we'll go through both of you and then we'll go to the Warriors. If you're the Lakers, who's the one team you want to avoid in a road play-in game? Let's start with you, Carson.
I think it would have to be Dallas if they're in this conversation. I mean, they're on the fringes of the play-in. I just think the Lakers still have a physical advantage in the front court there, but it has diminished from what would have been overwhelming earlier in the year. We've seen Dallas improve so much as a rebounding team, just improve their overall big situation. And then I just think the offensive ceiling that they have with Luka and Kyrie when they're going, it can be really overwhelming. And so I just think they're the scariest team. The Kings have been a tough matchup specifically for the Lakers with the quickness of their guards and the whole Sabonis AD battle, but I still like the Lakers in that matchup. So it's definitely Dallas to me.
If Dallas is in the conversation, I'd say Dallas. Sacramento doesn't scare me if I'm LA. Phoenix doesn't scare me if I'm LA. I don't really consider. I have enough confidence in Dallas getting out of the Final Four, so I would take Golden State honestly. Like, and that's what I want to emphasize. I don't want to count out Golden State by any means. Like, if Steph does go crazy in a one-game scenario, and Clay is still a swing factor in a one-game scenario where if he's hitting big shots and his shot is on, he is the kind of guy that can swing a single game, right? If Anthony Davis has an off night shooting, like there's a recipe for Golden State to win a game. Because I consider Dallas kind of out of this conversation, I would definitely say that I lean LA, but Golden State still scares the hell out of me if I'm LA, man. They've got all the recipe, you know what I mean? And we've seen it before. So Golden State still terrifies me if I'm Los Angeles.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that I think a road game in Dallas or Golden State would both be issues for the Lakers. Really, a road game against any of those teams, I think for the Lakers would be tough. They've got a lot of young players, and they really depend on their role players playing well, which is scary in those types of environments. I still lean the Kings as the scariest Lakers matchup, and it really is this simple to me. Like, I think LeBron and AD would be able to scale up physically against Dallas. I think they'd be able to scale up physically against Golden State. Meaning, what I mean by that is, like, I don't think PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford or PJ Washington and Derek Lively are going to be able to hold up well under a LeBron James, Anthony Davis onslaught in a single elimination game. That the Kings, the Kings are a bad defense, but they have defensive strengths, and they've had moments this year where they've been a really good defense. And the Kings' two defensive strengths both play specifically into Laker offensive weaknesses, which is the Lakers guards struggle against ball pressure, good physical ball pressure. And the Kings have a ton of quickness at the guard position to cause those sorts of problems. And secondly, Anthony Davis is an inconsistent over-the-top shot maker, and Sabonis is quicker and stronger than him. So you can beat him to spots and force him to make shots over the top. Some nights Anthony Davis makes all his hooks and jumpers, and some nights he just can't make them to save his life, and that can be a problem. And then on the other end of the floor, it's just a simple matter of, like, I actually like the Lakers against over-the-top shot makers, which is your Luka, your Kyrie, obviously looking at even the Suns guys, even looking at the Clippers guys, even looking at the Thunder guys. Like, the Lakers have done really well this year defensively against teams that rely on over-the-top shot making because they have good positional defenders that can get contests on shots. And because the Lakers do so much damage in the paint on the other end of the floor, it brings a physical wear and tear element that can sometimes lead to jump shots missing. I've seen a lot of complaints from people who don't like the Lakers this year being like, oh, they got lucky, this team missed shots. Oh, they got lucky, this team missed shots. And they don't realize it keeps happening because the Lakers play bully ball, and that can have a wear and tear effect on the game. Whereas, like, with the Kings in particular, obviously De'Aaron Fox is having a great pull-up shooting year. Obviously, we know Malik Monk can hit pull-up jump shots. Obviously, we know Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter and these guys can shoot. But the primary driving force behind their offense is actually a downhill force element. It's De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. It's Domantas Sabonis and his power game. So, like, they're a team that I think plays more directly into the Lakers' weaknesses on both ends of the floor. All right, quickly, Warriors, starting with you, Logan. Who's the one team you want to avoid if you're the Warriors?
Ironically, it's LA. I think that matchup's going to be a battle. I think that they just match up really well against each other. Like Carson said earlier, I don't think Golden State has an answer for AD. It's like, I think at the top of the draft, we were doing prospect breakdowns the other day. It's like, they don't have a big Zoo. They don't have a Hartenstein. They don't have a Robinson. And, like, just having a big body. I think if Golden State could somehow swing it, like a Donovan Clingan or somebody like that, like an immediate impact, big body center would be really effective, I think, for a team like Golden State, where you could run different types of defensive coverages. You just have a physical answer, a guy that just matches up well against any big body. And Golden State has not had that with Looney slightly tailing off this year. You know what I mean? He's not the same guy that he once was. I think they could get physically overwhelmed. Again, I'm not counting them out. And this isn't a shot at Sacramento. As a Kings fan, I just kind of have a sinking feeling that Sacramento is not going to get it done. And then Phoenix, I don't know about you guys. Phoenix doesn't really scare me at all. I just think they can't play defense. So, ironically, I think the kryptonite for both of these teams is a matchup against each other. And it kind of seems like that's the collision course that we're headed on. So, for both teams, I'd say it's LA Golden State.
I think it's LA for Golden State because of a lot of the reasons that I laid out earlier. And just to mention Phoenix, because I do think they're obviously a very talented basketball team. I just don't necessarily identify them as a tough matchup for a lot of people because it feels to me like they are just very dependent on what level of shot making are we going to get from our stars. And generally, when I think about matchup, it's like, okay, what do you have that is going to make X team uncomfortable? And because of their lack of defensive grip, because of their lack of physicality overall, I don't think Phoenix is really going to shine there. It's going to be like, what level are our stars playing at and how is their difficult shot making? But I think it's LA. Again, I think it's the star advantage. I think it's the physical advantage. I do think Vando coming back is a real problem at the point of attack, just able to hassle Steph off ball. I think that we saw how effective their pick and roll coverages were with both him and AD against Steph last year in the playoffs. And so I think it's pretty clearly the Lakers who the Warriors want to avoid.
Yeah, I think it's the Lakers too. I think if in the event that they won a game against the Lakers, let's say that they get the 9 seed and they go to Oracle and they win, or they happen to upset them at Crypto, the team that I'd be most worried about if I was Golden State at that point is Dallas. They have the interior size and length with Derek Lively. I go back and forth with Gafford and Lively, but I think in that specific matchup, I'd really like doing some of the stuff that a lot of teams have done against the Warriors, where you top lock and funnel and basically just count on Derek Lively to be kind of a deterrent at the rim, playing off of the non-shooters. So yeah, I'd probably lean towards Dallas in the event that they escape the Lakers, but I agree with you. The Lakers, to me, the Lakers are, when healthy with Jared Vanderbilt, the best team out of that play-in group. Overall, even including the Pelicans, just when they're actually healthy. But that again, like I think Jared Vanderbilt being out has made the Lakers look so physically overwhelmed on the perimeter. But like little things, like when Vando's in there, it just slots everything so much better. Now Austin Reeves is guarding the second best perimeter player, which is something he actually can handle as opposed to being in a struggle position. Jared Vanderbilt's one of their best defensive rebounders at the forward position. He's so much better offensively this year than he was last year, mainly because of the system that they're using. Like I think the Lakers are very much just in the pack right now, but when Vanderbilt's healthy, like they're legitimately in. I look at them more in that tier with the teams below Denver at the top when they're actually healthy.